Design. It's what makes our world both functional and beautiful. But most design is geared towards about 10% of the world. What about the other 90%? Millions, often crowded into cities with limited resources. They are at the root of a whole new wave of design.
Is that if the children cannot come, then the school should come to them.
Resourceful.
The answer is within us and what we can do together.
Exciting.
We all need sports.
And inclusive.
You know, this is the new South Africa, and you must accommodate, you must respect other cultures. And in that way, you will earn the respect of everyone.
Design with the other 90% takes us to the forefront of a design revolution that is changing the way we look at each other and our world. Our planet is at the crossroads of change. By 2050, more than 70% of the world's population will be city dwellers. Many new arrivals will live in informal settlements without proper housing or access to city services like sanitation and safe water. Today, nearly 1 billion people live in conditions like these. They are confronting some of the world's most difficult challenges, nowhere more so than Bangladesh. The geography and climate in Bangladesh leave it prone to some of the most devastating flooding on Earth. More than 25% of the country disappears during monsoon season, along with homes, schools, hospitals, and livelihoods.
পানি প্লাবিত যখন হয় তখন মাঠঘাট ডুবে যায় বাড়িঘর ডুবে যায় এটা বর্ষাকাল
Thousands are migrating from rural areas to higher ground in the capital city of Dhaka. Population 12 million and counting. Experts forecast more flooding, which means more people pouring into the city. Architect Mohammad Rezwan grew up in rural Bangladesh. He's combining traditional craftsmanship with emerging technology to help keep people settled in their communities.
I know my people, and I know the river. I saw the floods. During my childhood, I found it many of my friends and relatives, they were denied access to education because of the monsoon. So life becomes very difficult at that region, particularly for children to go to school.
Instead of fighting Bangladesh's rising waters, Rezwan's working with them to help communities stay afloat.
The idea was actually very simple, to bring education and resources to the community by boats.
In 2002, Rezwan launched his first floating school. It's a combination bus and classroom. The boats pick up students along the river and then dock. In the course of a day, each boat serves about 90 students.
আমরা যখন ছোট ছিলাম তখন তো আমাদের আশেপাশে কোনো স্কুল ছিল না আমরা অনেক দূরে স্কুলে যা পড়াশোনা করতে পড়ার ইচ্ছে ছিল কিন্তু আমাদের বাবা মার মতো এরকম করে রাখতে চায় না এখন বয়স হওয়ার সাথে সাথে স্কুলে পাঠাচ্ছে পুরস্কার মানে
The key to Rezwan's design lies in his cultural heritage. For generations, craftsmen here have used bamboo to build boats. It's plentiful and incredibly durable. The open siding allows for air circulation. And up on the roof, old school meets new school. The new design includes solar panels to provide electricity.
So you have a boat built with a tradition of boat building that has been around probably for centuries in that place, in that very place. Nothing new about that. But then you find it being powered by solar energy.
Today, a fleet of more than 20 school boats serves over 1,800 students.
When I started the first floating school, the aim is to bring education to the children, but people needed more.
A good design is limitless. With the same basic blueprint, Rizwan launched floating libraries and health clinics, an armada of community lifeboats based on a centuries-old design, modified for the future. But the community's needs don't stop at the dock.
In Bangladesh, only around 30%, 30% of the rural population have access to grid electricity.
Rizwan found a way to retrofit a common lantern design with solar components. Now, instead of expensive kerosene, the lanterns run on batteries that can be recharged at the community lifeboats.
Considering the need of the community, as the first design work, it helps me to think about designing the next thing.
This intersection of traditional knowledge and modern technology is making a big splash and preparing Bangladesh for climatic challenges ahead. Exactly the sort of project that would catch the eye of the Smithsonian's first curator for socially responsible design.
Cooper Hewitt is the National Design Museum, and we really feel that the institution, as a museum, that it's really part of our mission to be part of the dialogue and bring that to the public.
In 2010, Cynthia Smith traveled to 3 continents to see how people were navigating change in rapidly expanding informal settlements.
Good design, really good design, can provide solutions to problems. It's not the entire answer, but it certainly brings forward new ways of thinking about problems and providing innovative solutions.
Design with the other 90% cities is a major initiative to celebrate and share great ideas from around the globe. In South Africa, for example, Cynthia found one designer out to reinvent the wheel.
In Afrikaans, we've got a saying which is called 'n boer maak 'n plan, which means you make a plan to fix something. You won't just let it go.
Industrial designer Rolf Mulder is a man with a plan. He's rolling out a prototype for a do-it-yourself bike kit that's affordable and low maintenance. An evolution in transportation. Prefab components like wheels and center frames allow anyone to create a customized bike. Assembly is incredibly simple. Component parts link together. Just add a little wood and a little wire, and it's ready for the road.
It's not just about the frame being separate components, but also the ability to grow it and to personalize it to your aesthetic or also just your needs, your functional needs.
With imagination, you can build anything with wheels. From bicycles to tricycles, to wheelbarrows and carts.
There's not a shortage of ingenuity, there's not a shortage of design with materials to do that. And I think that's what we want to see, is unlock that design ability. And we don't want to prescribe this. We want people to have fun.
Half a world away, designers in Venezuela also believe in people having fun. But that's easier said than done in some urban neighborhoods. The barrios of Caracas, Venezuela face the challenges of many informal settlements. Tightly packed neighborhoods where crime is often abundant and space is always limited. Communities unrecognized on official maps, invisible to city planners.
There were white spots on a map. It was like junk space. No one paid attention to it. Yet in that space lived 5,000, 10,000, in the Metro Cable Hill, 45,000, in Petare, 800,000.
Architects Alfredo Brillenborg and Hubert Klumpner are fascinated with how design impacts cities. and how sports can transform communities.
Most people would tell you that it is impossible to provide sports areas in the barrios of Caracas. Buildings are in steep hills, they're very dense, there's very little area that you could even use for sports.
Designing in uncharted territory often requires hitting the streets.
It started as a walk in the barrios of Chacao to a soccer pitch. They said to us that they can't play when it rains during rainy season. So we proposed to the mayor to build a roof over the field.
The project grew, and a roof became 4 floors, 38,000 square feet of recreational space, all on a steep hillside.
So what Urban Think Tank did, they built higher. They went vertical. It wasn't just that it was a 4-story building. It was the fact that they built it so it was like a kit of parts, where each level was programmed, and it was totally transferable. You could take the same ideas and build it someplace else, but they might have very different needs, so you reprogram it in a different way.
Urban Think Tank's design plans are open source and freely available. This same basic principle could build an art complex, a school, or library. Whatever's needed, where it's needed most. They're now building their 5th vertical gym in Venezuela. Much of the labor comes from surrounding communities.
Excelente. Gracias por todo y
Muchas gracias. Pues tuvimos una problemática con respecto a las personas, lo que llamamos nosotros aquí en el argot del barrio, al malandraje. Teníamos muchos malandros que paraban la obra, se formaban muchos pleitos. A ver, tenemos muchos niños aquí en la comunidad que ahorita, de verdad, necesitan de esta cancha.
So the values of sports, the capacity to win and to lose and meet each other in a fair competition is very, very important.
The impact of a vertical gym in the barrio of Chacao is proof positive of the power of socially responsible design.
It's turned completely around the youth of the neighborhood. They've gone away from drugs, and crime rate has been reduced 15%. The gym has become a kind of urban toolbox that has re-knit the city back together.
By adapting to the environment, Urban Think Tank's vertical concept can be duplicated in cities everywhere. They've shown that great design can provide strong foundations for both buildings and communities.
The point is, we all need sports. We all need sports.
It doesn't matter with which side you begin, with a social concern or with a more artistic concern. You will meet each other in the process. So it's about dialogue between an ethical and an aesthetic point of view.
Urban Think Tank looked up and found a way to create crucial space out of thin air.
Sometimes the best design is one of those designs where you look at it and you go, wow, it's so simple. Why? I'm a designer, and we would joke around, why didn't I design that? It's so simple and it's so precisely what's needed.
In Kenya, another group found a way to feed hungry families, also by thinking vertically. Nearly 1 in 7 people around the world goes hungry every day. It's one of the greatest challenges of the other 90%. So how can design help people secure a dependable and affordable food source? One ingenious answer comes from Kibera, Kenya, one of Africa's largest slums.
The challenge of food security here in Kenya, and especially in a slum like here, you'll notice there's so much food. But the challenge is that it is not affordable for the people living in the slums because their incomes are very small.
Solidarités International has been propagating a design idea to help the residents of informal settlements combat rising food prices.
So what we provide is a simple technology that, in essence, provides them with a vertical garden.
A simple idea, a vertical garden in a sack. Winnie Mabutse is the project manager. She makes home visits, provides the initial seedlings, and shows residents how to build their sack.
This is one of our new beneficiaries. They've just been recruited and registered into the process. So the first thing they do is we take them for training.
The design for a vertical garden is easy and effective. First, the base of the sack is filled with 6 inches of soil and manure. A bottomless bucket helps position a column of rock through the center of the soil until the sack is full. The rocks help water flow to all levels of the soil evenly. Seedlings like kale, spinach, and onions are put in holes every 6 inches all over the sack. Larger plants, like pumpkins, go on the bottom.
We also have plants that are not edible but planted in the sack. Here we have African marigold. First, it is a fungicide. It will treat any fungal diseases that affect the vegetables. And the second thing, it will also repel all pests that are coming to the sacks. Right now in Kibera, what we're experiencing is a situation where neighbors are teaching other neighbors how to raise sacks. Like you see, the lady helping is a neighbor. They call each other and they are able to raise sacks together.
With 4 sacks, a family can produce vegetables for 10 meals a week, saving about 40 cents a day. That's 20% of the average daily income here. With 6 sacks, gardeners can produce enough vegetables to sell.
So our aim is to have food security at the household and income for other needs.
Solidarités International has provided sacks to over 20,000 households. Some 100,000 people now have better food security, grown themselves in the heart of the city.
See, it's really important you create a situation where people can actually generate an income, which is incredibly important in this area, and much that we can learn about in all parts of the world.
Across the developing world, many people support themselves and their families as informal traders, street vendors, constantly on the move, setting up shop where they can, often without a business license. From the government's point of view, informal trade doesn't generate taxes. It's not counted in national wealth. But across much of Africa, informal trade accounts for as much as 75% of employment.
So we're really working very hard to bring them into view of decision makers so that they can see just how vital these activities are to the economic health and vibrancy of these cities.
In the heart of Durban, South Africa, Warwick Junction is a vibrant market district and transportation hub. Days here start early. Bushels of corn are prepared for mealie, a favorite local snack. At the morning market, a bounty of fresh vegetables and live poultry. Visitors to the herb market can consult with a traditional healer or buy local medicines. And household goods are readily available. Nearly 500,000 people pass through here every day. Warwick Junction is truly a crossroads of culture and change, because it hasn't always looked this way.
This was a public transport node that was designed for and exclusively for black people. It was an apartheid blight. It was an area, part of the city that, because it was zoned for black people and black commuters, it was underserviced, squalid. I mean, there's some newspaper articles that describe the area as a cesspit.
Richard Dobson and Patrick Novu founded an organization to help Warwick Junction maximize its potential.
I've been in Warwick Avenue since 1986 as a police officer. Informal trading was illegal then, so my prime duties was to make sure that no trading, absolutely no trading that takes place within the city. Issue fines and impound traders' goods, even lock them up, arrest them.
In the mid-1990s, that all changed. A traders committee was organized to work with the Durban City Council. Together, they launched an urban renewal project to acknowledge the economic contributions of informal traders and secure them a home at Warwick Junction.
Look, actually people trading on the pavement is an economic advantage. It's an opportunity. It's not something you just allow. It's something we need to encourage. And that was a huge change in the thinking of the municipality, which has come through in this project in particular.
The redesign of Warwick Junction required extensive collaboration between traders and city officials. First, unused highway spurs were adapted for an herb market. Stairs and bridges were added to make areas more accessible. Additional infrastructure made it all safer and cleaner for shoppers and traders alike.
This is my place. These are lovely green peppers that are packed by me, sold by me.
Ramila Chetty has worked here for 20 years and is a leader on the Traders Committee.
We have 690 traders in this market, and then we have a further 1,000 workers. So this is a unique network where we are all interlinking and working together. It is such an admirable place because we all work hand in hand, all as one big family working together and in harmony. And that is the beauty of this place, you will notice.
In the market redesign, specialty traders got special treatment, like the bovine head cookers. Cow's heads are a Zulu delicacy, traditionally eaten only by men. The cookers used to work outside on the sidewalk.
They used to defrost the frozen heads, which they would get early in the morning, and they would just put them on the curbside to defrost in the sun. So as you walked along the pavement, there were these cows' heads kind of looking up at you, blood and whatever dripping into the stormwater drain. But quite macabre for some people, seeing the heads being chopped up.
With input from the cookers, designers created a space that was suited to the particular needs of preparing cow heads, including butcher tables and drainage. Now, this ancient custom can continue, adapted for a modern urban context.
I don't think anybody had ever tried to design a facility for this kind of function before.
Not far from the bovine head cookers is the herb market, a primary feature of today's Warwick Junction. The symbolism of its prominent placement is far-reaching.
That activity really needed to be dignified and turned into the pharmacy that it really is.
Over 700 traders pile their stalls with traditional medicine. Herbalists and healers give on-site diagnosis and advice. These traditional practices were long denounced and repressed by the apartheid government. Now, they are given a place of prominence in the new Warwick Junction.
You know, this is the new South Africa, and you must accommodate, you must respect other cultures, and in that way you will earn the respect of everybody.
Without these things being in our cities predominantly and visibly and part of city life, our cities will become homogenized and the richness of culture will not be able to flower in our cities.
We came out of apartheid, which really looked at separating people, creating buffer zones between them. We all have a responsibility to deal with that legacy. So in that context, where does an architect fit in? How do we contribute to that process? We had to start from here.
20 years ago, Warwick Junction was considered a blight on the city of Durban. Today, it is something to strive for. A thriving crossroads where everybody contributes and all benefit.
They want to see, you know, the multicultural and the informal trade at its best. They must come to Warwick Avenue.
Because cities are dense, with lots of different people, there's real opportunity for collaboration and innovation. Cities can be real engines of poverty reduction. And that's a great opportunity. And that's the interesting part. That's the design with the other 90%.
We really need to be thinking about how to design with the other 90% rather than for them. Together we can do things that have never been done before.
Around the world, communities at the crossroads of change are mapping a brighter and more secure future through innovative design, educating children, illuminating homes, fostering ingenuity, and building community. The seeds of great ideas are taking root across the globe, and the possibilities for our cities are as limitless as our imaginations.